Hey everyone, how are we doing? I missed you guys last time I was in the summit. I'm so sorry, but I am here. Oh, I'm so glad everyone enjoyed the presentation. I saw a couple questions already. So everyone was asking what kind of embossing powder was I using? Um, I am a huge fan of Michael's brand. It's a craft store, very well, probably too close to me. And I just love their embossing powders. They have great deals. You can buy one, get one free. Um, and it's just wonderful. I think it just melts like there's no tomorrow. Even the white, which is uh, which is pretty cool because I always struggle uh with white embossing hair. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Yes. I love my purple hair. So I saw in the until what is my favorite tool to use? It's not necessarily a tool. And it's actually two things. My husband always laughs. I always tell him if wherever I go, I must have my vintage photo ink with a blender, and plus I don't even need that, or my colored pencils. But definitely the um, the vintage photo. I can't be with without that. I can make do. I can tear paper if I have to, if I don't have a cutting tool or anything like that. Oh, thanks everyone for the hair. Yeah, it's kind of thing. You got to cover up the gray in a fun way, right? And that's what we do. But I'm very thankful that everyone liked the video. I saw in the Facebook group that somebody, and I forget her name, so I apologize. She improvised, and I think what she did, she used dyes to create the look. So instead of using stamps and embossing powder, she used dyes, and um, I thought it was absolutely magnificent with what she did. So again, be creative. Get out of the norm when it comes to um, paper. Paper is an awesome medium. We can do anything with it. Um, okay, near Pottstown. I'm probably about 10 miles outside of Pottstown, just outside of Philly in the suburbs. Somebody asked if I would show my colored pencil. Well, if you get that VIP, you will see a very detailed VIP access video. So, something to think about. What inspires me the most? Um, you know, honestly, you guys and how you guys create and paper. Paper's very inspiring for me. I like to go outside the norm. Can you tell? Um, yes, we can take glue, we can take paper, we can stick it together, we can layer it, we can ink it and stamp it. And to me, they're the normal things. But to create different things with it, I love 3D. I love layering the dies, scrapbook albums to die for, and I just recently, literally, posted a video on my YouTube channel where cards became part of the scrapbook album. So there's just so much we can do. I love making cards, but I truly do enjoy stepping out of that box and say, okay, how can this turn into a further piece of art that can sit in your home and to show off something? Can you share the name of your static removing tool and the triangular tool you were using with the embossing powder? So the static removing tool that I used is by Pink and Main. It's similar to, I think it's, picket fence, but it's the pink and Main version. Absolutely love that. And the triangular tool with it. Oh, that is one of those triangles that you can get that can hold your gems so they don't go over the table. No, I use it for my embossing powder. And I just use that to skip or to scoop the powder up onto my paper. But you know what? A piece of scrap paper works just as well. So, absolutely. Which vintage photo? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I do lean towards the regular distress ink, to go around the edges, to soften white, when it comes to that. But either one, whichever one I can find first, because it's always sitting on my craft table. It's never away. And there's a different, I have the original blending sponges, and there's a brush, and then a dauber that's just sits right there, depending upon how I want to apply it. What is your best tip for embossing? Don't stress about it. Um, I feel sometimes with embossing, we want that perfect, perfect impression. It's gotta look the best. Let it go. There's a lot of times where I forget my anti-static tool. That is a key element, though, to make sure you use that. Our fingers have oil on them, and I'm constantly putting lotion on my fingers, totally forgetting. And then I go touch my card and I'm embossing, and I've got fingerprints all over the place. It's a cool look, it kind of gives a different effect to the background, and I usually just go with it, because I'm too lazy to brush it away. Um, but use an anti-static. And yes, let your heat tool heat up. I usually let mine heat up for about 15, 20 seconds. And that's just so that the embossing can go quicker. I find my paper's going to warp. I don't ever get to stop it from doing that. But don't stress over the look of it. No matter what it is, it just looks great. So have fun with it. The link in my presentation was covered up by your name banner. Oh, so sorry. Can you give that link again? Is that Ardith? I think she's talking about for the freebie. Um, I think. I don't remember it off the top. Um, okay. Um, so I think it's www.includeathankyou.com/CMSS. It's on my worksheet. Yes. So when you go to the presentation, thank you, Brandy. The link will be right there for you, because I don't want to give you the wrong one, and then you'll go into website cyberspace, to try to find that. Just starting to make cards. What is the best die machine to buy? I'm going to answer that in two. So, if you're looking for an electronic machine, an electronic die cutting machine, and everyone's got their own preferences when it comes to this. I did move into an electric one because of an injury that I had suffered and another issue that I was having. I am a fan of the Switch Plus, um, and I have the Tim Holtz version of that. If you're good with a manual crank, the ones that we have, and you want a small footprint, Spellbinders. I love the Spellbinders Platinum 6 and the regular size. It's a larger footprint like the Switch Plus is. So you can do more die cutting at once. And if you're a die cutter like I am, if you can, I would suggest going with the larger one. It still folds up. It's just longer than the Platinum 6, so it does take up a little bit more real estate, but you're gonna get more for your bank. Again, those are my choices. I've had others and have not been as pleased with them. The heat tool that I use is the Wagner. Had mine for eons. Let me get this. We're getting some funky blue things going on there. It's the Wagner heat tool, the original one that came out. I've had others. I've burned them out. So this one has lasted me, and I think I've had this one for about 7 years now, and it's still, absolutely still going strong. And you want a good heating tool. Now I need my glasses 'cause I can't read. Okay, we're just gonna have to deal. Well, we'll go with like that. If you use a sticky mat on the Misty, will the anti-static take away the stick on the mat if it gets on it? Over time, it will. It does. And sometimes that works to your advantage because then you're able to get to the side of your card, especially if you make the same size cards. Um, but it doesn't take the stick away, at least in my opinion, it doesn't take the stick away completely. You can wipe your sticky mat off with a damp cloth, and that'll bring the stick right back to it. So you'll never lose, um, in a certain amount of time, that stick. I haven't found it yet, and I've been using them for about 6, 7 months now, and it's still the same. It doesn't look pretty, but that's okay. Thank you. Yes. I did a huge remodel of the room. Um, and I did it all in one shot. I do not recommend that. If you are ever thinking, and if you have that space to remodel all at once, now do it in sections. Um, I thought it would take it took no time to clear out. Um, it took absolutely no time to clear out, a day and a half. To put it all back, I thought it was gonna take about 3 days, so I took some time off. Nope, I'm still putting it back together. And going through things, I one of the things I love Laura's look at, if you're not using it, let's do something else with it so somebody else can have joy with that. There was probably a reason why we bought it at one point, but we just don't have that reason now. I don't like to throw it away. And I have linked up with some great communities across the states, and I donate stamps, dies, papers, mixed media stuff, and I know it's just being loved. And I do reach out to my fellow YouTubers to see if they want it as well. So, but thank you. I'm hoping to do a tour once it's completely done because it's totally flipped on its back end. I actually changed everything and stole furniture from my husband. So, yes. Thank you. I absolutely love it. I find things, I've labeled things, and I know where things are. So I think that's awesome. Because when we don't know um, where something is, it frustrates me, and I won't do anything else until I find it. Favorite combination of mixed media techniques. Uh, I love watercolor bases with colored pencil accents. I love acrylic backgrounds, acrylic paint backgrounds. I did that recently, and you were able to ran right through an embossing folder just fine. Um, Chalk pastels with colored pencils and acrylic paint. I believe any medium can marry up beautifully with any other medium. The only medium I have them, I play around with them, that I really don't gravitate to, but I love mixing them with colored pencils are alcohol markers. So I'll put a base coat or a different type of blend down in an area, and then my colored pencils just come into play to add the depth, the shadows, the highlights, and that alcohol marker or watercolor or acrylic paint is just a quick way to get a base color down onto that piece so I don't have to continuously color. But I do that. I know somebody had asked for samples of the colored pencil techniques. There's a series on my YouTube channel called Just Be Calm and Color. That's all it is. It's literally you don't hear me because I gab. Yep, I love to gab. It's just me, soft music, and you're just watching me color this image. So there's a bunch in there. The name of my YouTube channel is Include a Thank You. Squish. So you can do the @ and include a thank you. And it's right there on my little tiny thing if it shows up there. Yep. How do we pronounce my last name? Kuemmerle. Kuemmerle. Yes. My husband blessed me. You look so organized now. Saw your tour a long time ago and you cracked me up. Oh, you made it through that video, huh, Wendy? Bless you. Yeah, that was when I was transitioning. So I had been a quilter for years. And I don't even like to say quilter. I like to say sewer. I like to do the shells of the quilt and then I gave it to my friend to quilt. And then I would sew the binding on. So I was in a transition mode because I was in the process of closing that down. I could not do that anymore for personal reasons. So I was transitioning over into the paper crafting world. I had found another love. Not that all crafts are not my love. I love everything crafty. I'll try anything once. But yeah, that was that was all over the place. Yeah, lots of layers in a shelf. When you pulled out one thing, everything else would. It's like those closets where we can close the door and nobody sees it, but when you open it, it just comes out at you. Yeah. So yes, very organized now. And it's almost when you do that, you find yourself. You're like, okay, I don't need all of this. I don't need these. You kind of hone yourself in to say, okay, I don't need every ink out there. Okay, I just need these. We all get into those traps. So what won't you try a second time? Honestly, my sister pulled me into cake decorating. It was fun. No. She does wedding cakes. She's gotten into this and she just does it for herself and, gave it a try. Yep. Nope. I had the most modern deco cake you'd ever see. It was awesome. And of course it was purple and black. So, yes. That I won't. But I love crocheting, knitting, quilling, of course, paper and everything that pulls in. Scrapbook albums. We've been seeing those recently on my channel. They're going to come in, journals. Again, taking paper to the next level. And, but don't get me wrong, still going to make cards. But just more of how far can we take it? How can we make it 3D? So that when that recipient gets it or after you make it, it just sits somewhere. And you can admire it. Yes, Wendy. Yes, me too. My sister loves fondant, not a fondant person. But yeah, the frostings, the buttercreams. When you recognize, you also find things you forgot you had and many fall in love with all over again. That happened a couple times. Because what happened was the things that I found and said, oh my God, I forgot I had that. I'm like, well, I can do this. That's why we're kind of seeing this change. The acrylic paints, they came out. I created a background for those. My sprays, I'm pulling them out. They were buried. And now that I found them again, I'm like, okay, now we can start pulling those in and having fun. There were some items where it was like, okay, yes, this was fun, but this is just not something that I'm going to go back into. It's just not part of what I want to go into when it comes to that. So absolutely, it can happen, or it can just go to the wayside. Let me look at our time because I don't want nasty grants. Okay, we got time. So, what other questions? Um, I see a question here. Um, just crafting is a rabbit hole. It is. You can, and there it is. Linda, you're absolutely correct. And the rabbit hole can be twofold. We want to try everything. And that's me now. I just want to try, okay, what do I need to make this happen? What do I need to make that happen? So in Amazon is just no help at all. But it can. There's so much out going out here. When it comes to paper and the card making industry, there's just so many new ideas and so many different ways to do something. Absolutely. Um, when it comes to the new tools or the new things, I find I wait now. I used to be that person where I jumped right on it and said, "Yep, got to look at this." Just looking at this. I find now I sit back and I wait. Um, and see, you know what, that would go with me. Cardstock do I like to use? I am a fan of the Needy 80 pound, and I am also a fan of the Recollections collection, the 110 and the 65 pound. I use that for my albums when I put those together. And for color cardstock, it's a split between Spellbinders and their new cardstock. It is absolutely phenomenal. Colors are beautiful. Or Stampin' Up. I know, Edward, but I just love their value when it comes to cardstock. Do I have a preferred die company? I do have a preferred company, yes, and they are mainly dies, and that's Scrappy Tails. Scrappy Tails Crafts. I am on their design team. Um, I love Sabrina. I think she is inspiring for me. Um, and you'll see why, but I love the fact that she gets out of that box and it's 3D. Um, you can get that home decor piece or that piece that just pops at somebody that's different and unique. They're the things that I enjoy. But that's my main one. But any layering dies, I love the look of that. I do have a website. Matter of fact, I just completed all the rebranding on it, going through many changes here, and it's www.includeathankyou.com. My other tagline is, and you'll see it in there, is Desiree Tangles with Paper. So you'll see that, and then you'll see the icon um, for that. All the cards that I make are donated for the majority, about 95% of them. My sister-in-law works in a nursing home series, meaning she's across different states. And every month I give her a box and she divvies them up to those facilities so that the patients can get a little smile. There are some of them, the other 5% are grabbed by people. I get emails that say, "Can I have that?" Okay. Or I'm going to buy that. But okay. And we set it aside. But good majority um, is there. So are there any last questions? We only got a couple minutes here. All that. So I hope you will check out the website. There are some changes going on there with the rebranding. Check out my YouTube channel to see all what I do with paper from Zentangling to 3D images. Guys, thank you so much. I enjoy this so much. I love this part of the summit where I get to talk to you and answer some of your questions. But as always, if you have anything else, get me in the Facebook group. Make sure you tag me. I want to see your creations. Absolutely see your creations.